Hello developers, today we are going to see the final part of this tutorial. Here we are going to develop this playback functionalities, like you can either visualize the recording, you can scroll and scroll this with progress bar and save the data. So let's start the implementation. So for this I am going to have one new file module by which we are going to use this UI things. So basically what's happening means we are going to use sealed class for data separations. So you hope you are going to know how we are going to use sealed class here. So each sealed class either contains object or data class. So difference between object and data class is object doesn't have the values in parameter, but data class like review, I'm just going to pass this parameters. Okay, so this is a sealed class, just need to pass val. So by using the sealed class, I am going to differentiate the UI states. I am creating a composable main function called main screen. And we are going to call this recording screen and that player screen. Here I have two screen readers. To manage these states, I have this kind of logics. So type is recording state and initial value is recording UI state UI state dot idle. Initially it is idle. Idle state is still there. When it's kind of switch case. So when values are like idle, either idle, any of one of these, like idle or recording or past. If three states, you are going to use this reading screen. We need default else case. So if the fourth state like review, it's a data class, so we need to use is. So if it is a reading state, I am going to use another screen to render the data. Just create a composable function called player screen. So this URI going to pass here. So how to fetch the URI? It's present int UI state dot value dot URI. Okay, cool. Here we are going to add the logic for the UI. First, I'm going to use column with full max size, that is full screen with background color something like BG blue. Option enter or alt enter, it will automatically add the parameters. So if any parameters there, preview won't work here. I just remove this is recording and is play. In meantime, I'm going to use that with. So here I'm render this with main screen. Passing the UI state, option enter or alt enter, it will automatically add the parameters. Okay. So these two values I'm going to pass manage with sealed class. If US state value is equal to recording, then it will load the animation. No, it will be not equal to idle, it will load the animation, else it was just an image. So if it is recording equal to true, I make it as recording. The name itself you can understand. Recording equal to false, so I'm just going to use not equal to recording state, or else equal to idle state. Either is fine. If it is an initial idle state, we can request the permission. When stop recording, it backs to initial idle state. So that is the logic here. If you recording equal to false, okay, so it is false, or else idle state. So basically, if it's recording equal to false means idle state, else it's a recording state. So once we close this, we can make it as idle. Yeah. So back to original state. If it's not equal to idle, that is, it's either can recording, pause, or play something. So if it is already paused, check if the status is equal to pause. We can record. Else we can pause. Yeah, you can either pause, play. This functionality is working as same as possible, but at the time of pause, animation is still playing, right? So cool. We can handle this too. If it is recording only, we can show the GIF. Yeah, pretty direct case. Cool. This also works fine. So hope you get the knowledge of using the sealed class in UI formations. Next, I am going to create a that music player functionalities, right? So audio player manager. So as usual, it is a kind of a media player. And it's a starting function to initialize this media player. Not apply. So here we can use our media player functionalities. So data sources URI, you need to pass context to. So context URI. Pretty straightforward. The function prepare function is done. We can use a play function. Media player dot play, not play, start. Okay. Media player dot pass. So here I'm going to use a kind of state functions, state flow with the default value false. So something is wrong. Yeah, equal to is so setter. It is where is playing state flow. You may think why we use state flow, because it will lively update our UI whenever its value changes. So it is a mandatory for a UI updations on Compose. Cool. So is playing, when you start playing, is playing equal to true. If we pass, is playing dot value equal to false. Pretty understandable only. Similar to the is playing, we need few more values, which is duration. Long life, it will be there, 0 initialized. It also long value. Duration is there. So current position, so which helps for draggable progress bar, right? So for this we need a current position too. Current position. So we can use this here. Set on complete listener. It will make the playing value equal to false. Current position and value equal to duration not too long. So toggle play button function helps to either play or pause based on the button click, right? Play pause functionalities. So if it's already playing, we can pause here, else we can use play. So that way this button works here. What else? We can update the progress bar. Right. So progress bar can be updated with hold duration and current position. for this, I'm going to use a job. Job is nothing but it's the kind of coroutines. So it will act as a thread. Coroutine scope like we can update the progress. So you can check coroutine scope dispatches start main, which is a main thread launch. So it's going to launch on the main thread to update the durations text. It current position to long. Cool. And I'm going to use a delay of 100 milliseconds so that it will check at every 100 milliseconds the progress update value is get updated. Yeah, start progress updates. Cool. It can start on play and the pause it just cancel the job. Cool. We can use this audio player manager on my player screen itself. Audio player manager. Need to pass the context. Val context equal to local context dot current. So better we have here itself, right? So no need within the bus. No need within the child composable. I am using parent composable function itself. So that is way better. So that every value I am going to collect this as a state to use this composable function, like duration, current position. So launched effect is kind of will act as a first time this composable enters. So first time I'm initializing prepare this. Disposable effect is will act when the compose exit, like on disposal. Audio player dot stop, right. uh, okay, stop is not there. I'm using release function. MediaPlayer dot release. Cool. Launched effect for initial entering the time, disposable for exiting time. So here my current progress is duration is greater than 0, current position by total time. Oops, something is missing. Hence 0. Here we need to check duration dot value to avoid divided by 0 exceptions. Okay. Not happening. For that music progress bar, I'm going to use my library. So for the time sake, I created the library and posted on my GitHub repo. So I'm just going to use here. You can just sync now. Before that, you need to add dependencies in settings for Gradella. Maven of https jetpack.io. So this library can be accessed from Jetpack. Once done, we added libc.version.toml, right? So that need to be implemented here in build.get app level. Music.progress. Once sync, you can see. Oops, it's curved, capital C. So once downloaded, you can use our functions for the progress bar and that voice animations, right? Cool. Music progress bar. First thing is modify. Point 0.9 for 90% width. Instead of 100%, it takes 90% width. We need to pass a progress of current progress. On value change, it will take IT float. So this will like we are seeking the bar while playing, right? So that thing we'll do that later. This format time function will we did on part 2, right? So that the top will be 8 dp. So space between, make sure it's 2 items are spaced on left and right. Okay. So similarly, I'm going to use my row again. With that cancel icon and save button. Here I'm going to use 3 buttons. One for cancel, one for save, one for play or pause. With 80% width. So second middle is icon button. Icon button la I'm going to use with icon. If it is already playing, we can show that pause button, right? Let's show the play button. Content description is null. Tint is the color of the icon. I am giving as white color. Modify will use the size of the icon. So we need to give image parameters, right? Image vector and modify. Okay, how works? Similar to the side icons, save icon. So the UI is done. Let's run the project. The audio is not needed here. So at the time of previously we stopped the recording, right? In that case, we need to pass this to new page. For this, I'm going to use stop for review on voice record manager. This is so just return the URI recording URI. We need to add a return value. We need to pass the fetch the URI from here and pass this on review. Once we run the project, we can see it moves to next page, right? With progress bar. That is working fine, but we can make it as center arrangement. So let's go to the player screen. AudioManager toggle belly button to player pause functionalities. Vertical arrangement to arrangement center to center the screen. Okay. Cool. The UI looks now better, but the seeking the progress bar is not okay. Next level, I'm going to use this. So you can check the seek function here. Make sure you add it from the previous place. Next part, I'm just adding this as a visualizer. So just make it as a continuity. So these are the standard methods to get our visualization amplitudes. Just follow with me on capture listener of our audio. We can get the waveform. Override function FD data capture. Cool. We can get IT of 120 ATF to make the bytes to our amplitude right. So just make the 120 ATF. So implement another functions. And finally we wind up this with rate and waveform. Visualize the dot get on this. Capital B. Visualize the dot. With max capture rate by 2. Waveform is true. FT is false. So after this function, we are going to save our amplitudes for that waveform functions. Amplitude that value equal to floats. The type is mismatch. Let's make sure the this type is floater. Looks good. You can get the amplitude here. Just check. Make sure it is not a private. So not value. That is for getting only. For using this amplitude, I'm going to use my standard waveform audio waveform function from my library. Right? So wave color you can give any color of your choice. I'm giving white color for now and modify let it be height of 150 dB and fill max width of 90%. Cool. Okay. Let's start visualization and to initialize this song. Let's play this. Oops, it's song. So to fix this, we need to pass this IT of I, not the whole thing. Now you can see this waveform perfectly fine. And then we can focusing on the discarding. So make sure you're adding try catch to avoid crashes. If it's already stopped, again you're stopping your cause crashing sometimes. So once the data is saved, you can either discard or save. Save is the working, but one issue is there, right? The UI is not able to idle state again. So for this, similar to the recording screen, I am passing this UI state to the player screen also. After that, make it to idle screen.
It's 10:30.
Cool. Now that discard and save function will work as such. Yeah. And finally, a bonus tip: we can change the top icon is currently in black color, right? I didn't see the charger and the time itself in top bar, status bar. To fix this, this can be useful. Media it inserts controller window and view is appear status bar equal to true. Still it's black color. We'll make it false and we'll back to the white color icons. Cool. And finally on manifest you can change the app icon color. Instead of a green color widget, you can change this to your custom own images. This is a bonus tip. Make sure you use this icon. So that's all about the tutorial. Thanks.